These three trends are going to dominate the domain industry into 2020. Hey, Chris Zuiker with Media Options to help companies to acquire the raw version of the brand, broken some of the best domain names on the planet. Check it out over at MediaOptions.com. Check out ChrisZuiker.com and check out DNX.com. Okay, the first trend is this, just the social trends that are taking place. And each year, and each decade, and each industry, there's different trends that take place. For instance, in the medical space, there was a time when it was very symptom-based, and the companies were going after symptom-based brands, symptom-based marketing campaign domain names, which led to them buying symptom-based domain names. That actually pivoted more to brands, and then you saw these same companies really kind of tabling a lot of the great domains that they had, a lot of great, let's say, marketing campaign brands that they had, and symptom-based brands to more of their literal brands for their drugs, their prescriptions, you name it, okay, whatever solution they're trying to solve. I see that kind of coming back again. So my point is that there's different social things that take place. Now, that being said, most of the companies that are launching, most of the big companies, the scalable companies, the companies that are looking for big exits, the only way that you can really interact with them in a meaningful way is online. Now you think of like Amazon.com. They don't really have many physical stores. They have a couple maybe in like Seattle. But for the most part, 99% of the people that interact with Amazon, guess what? I mean, you're doing it online in an online interface. And so I see the same social trend taking place. I think it's only gonna get more and more integrated as we walk around with our phones, right? Everywhere we go, and we're stuck in our phones, and everything we do is via the internet. I mean, it's just commonplace today. It's what we do. So that's going to be a major social trend as we go into this 2020. Is that more and more companies are only going to be online. It's because they're only online, they need to own the very raw version of their brand. Okay, so there's the social trend that's going to take place. The second major trend that's going to take place is going to be economical. What I mean by economical is that more founders who have had big exits, they understand the impact and the power that a domain name has on a brand. Now, I'm going to digress here just a little bit because what I hear in the industry over and over again is that I just want to communicate like how powerful a premium domain is. A premium domain is for a company and for a brand. And if they just understood the power of premium domain names, they'd buy my domain name. And I'm like, like you're so close. You're so close to your messaging, but you're missing the mark because in the essence, buying the raw version of your brand and via your domain name is about creating this effortless path for your brand and for your customers. It's about creating simplicity, and that simplicity is rewarded with a thing we call brand equity, okay? And brand equity is loyalty, it's profit, it's conversion, and it's this like intangible like quality, but in the end, it's like creating long-term customers. It's like this cohesiveness that great brands just exude. Now, the thesis that I have, and I've talked to many different major branding companies, is that your domain name equals your brand equity, okay? And that's kind of the train of thought here. And so if you don't own the raw version of your brand, do you really own your domain name? And so what I'm seeing is that more and more companies and more VCs, more and more investors, they're understanding that, listen, this is a foundation. If you're only gonna be online and that's the only place that the customers have to interact with you, well then listen, like you need to own the raw version. It's not okay to have multiple companies that are out there that all call themselves the same brand. Now at this point, I get many founders who say, but hey, I own a trademark. And I'm like, kid, congratulations, like I own a trademark also. And it doesn't do anything for me as far as all the different other companies that are out there that in different industries, there's like 45 different trademark classes. And so there's a lot of noise that takes place. Now, I give the story over and over again of Kraken.com, Kraken Rum, and how Kraken Rum actually launched first, right? Well, actually launched back in 2013, I think it was. They had $15 million in their initial marketing that they said, but actually it was probably more as far as just the back end and ramping up and getting their brand out there. And yet they didn't own Kraken.com. And now I know that I don't know the whole story behind this, but I know in talking to enough of the people in this industry, they're like, we don't really need it. But here's the lesson, okay? So Kraken Crypto Exchange came along, they acquired Kraken.com, and the rest is history. Now, if you go and search Kraken, what do you see? You see Kraken Crypto Exchange. They dominate the global positioning. And if you talk to most young people, they will tell you, like, you ask, hey, what do you think of Kraken? They're like, Kraken crypto, right? This exchange. They don't think of Kraken rum. And so, in essence, what happens is that the advertising now that Kraken rum does, it's just purely direct response. There's no compounding aspect. There's not this brand equity that comes in to owning their brand. Like, their marketing comes in and it comes out, and maybe they do make a little bit of a return, but it's not the true return on investment they could have had they have dominated everything around their brand. Now, if you fast forward today, they spent $70 million, let's say, maybe $50 million if you look at like over year. Would they go back and would they acquire their domain name? Had they known they're going to put all this money in, another company's going to come and is going to dominate the global positioning? Listen, I have to think they would. Like, any sane marketer would say, yeah, you should have just bought it. Maybe it's $200,000, maybe it's $250,000, maybe it's $1 million. But for the investment that they put in their brand and keeping another bigger brand out there from acquiring that, it was a no-brainer. And so what you see is that more investors, more founders, they've gone through this process. They understand it. They realize they've gone through the pain. They've gone through the reward. You take someone like Jamie, who sold his company to $1 billion to Amazon. That was Ring.com. Listen, the next time he's going to start a business, do you think he's going to say, hey, I need to own like the best brand that I can possibly own? Of course he is. Of course he is, because he realized that $1 million investment. He said Ring.com was worth $40 to $50 million when I sold it. Okay, so the first one is social. More companies are just strictly online, and they're going to, they understand the power of a premium domain name. They understand it's foundational, their asset. The next one is economical. There's more money that's going to be put towards domain names, just from the simple fact that more founders, more VCs understand that your domain name is your brand, it equals your brand equity, and so they're willing to put that money down. Now, the third thing is going to be the technological trend. The technological trend is that there's more domains that are just off the market forever. And what you're seeing is that good quality domains that number one, interact and really like come to the very essence of your company, the very essence of your mission, the very essence of your industry, are just locked away in vaults. They're locked away in vaults. So let's say, Google, how many thousands of domain names they own. All these big companies, they own some of the best domains in the world. And actually, if you want to talk about like squatters, okay, you hear this word a lot. Oh, that's a domain squatter. Listen, the big companies are the biggest domain squatters in the world because they have the best portfolios in the world, and they won't sell them unless they like truly get a great offer, like a big offer. They're not just going to turn around and sell as domain names. And so you see that from a technological standpoint, it's just, I think I see, because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startups, that like the great domain names, they're off the market. Once they're built into a brand, like you just can't buy them because it just doesn't make sense. I mean, let's say a company buys a domain for $250,000, $500,000, and they put money and they put life and they put like their mission behind that domain. Like, would they ever sell it? Like, would it make sense for them ever to sell? Like, go to Apple and say, hey, like, listen, we want to buy your domain name. They would laugh at you and say, are you kidding me? Like, it never, like, it's not going to sell. So from a technological standpoint, there's going to be, I think, inventory is shrinking. It's getting harder and harder to find great domains that, I shouldn't say, listen, there's a lot of great domains that are out there. You can go to DNX, you can see over like thousands of domain names that are available, one-word domains that are available. But more and more domains are being, because of the social factor, because of the economical factor, it's supply and demand. Supply is dwindling, and it's only going to get more and more scarce. And there's going to be a limited supply of the great domains for specific industries. Okay, for specific industries like insurance, like medical. I mean, they're just being bought up, and they're never going to be sold again. Okay, they're just off the market forever. And so you have this perfect storm. I think we're going to continue this perfect storm in 2020 of this supply and demand curve. You're going to see demand go up. You're going to see supply go down. That's going to increase prices. But I'm specifically talking about one thing. I'm talking about like great one-word domain names that that create the raw essence of the raw essence of a brand. Okay, so let's say that's like your quilt.com. That's like your trunk.com. That's like your that's like your ERP.com. Okay, there's only so many of those available. Once they're gone forever. So those are the top three factors that are going to increase it. I'm going to go, in my next video is going to go into depth about the brand in this thesis that I have as far as domain name goes or brand equity. But I'm relating that specifically to the different tiers of companies, because it truly, like if you're going to be successful as a domain investor, you got to understand these different tiers, because there's different psychology that goes into why people buy. There's different psychology that goes into how people even find you and how you make money and turn your inventory depend upon the tier of the company. By tier of the company, I mean, are you going after a small business hobbyist? Are you going after a local small business, a regional small business, a national small business? Are you going after a serial entrepreneur that's building and has built online companies over and over and over again, or a company that has VC backing, that is a scalable company or a viable company that's looking to get a buyout, get this big payout? I'm going to talk about that. So I'm going to end it there today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you found any value in it, go on over to Chris, share it up first of all, and make sure you check out my podcast. I do a daily podcast. It's like 5 to 7 minutes of my journey in domain names, negotiation, business, life. And go and check that out over at chriszuiker.com/podcast. Also, check out chriszuiker.com/survey, where you can answer 5 questions, and I give you 3 different strategies. That it's like a 10-minute video to 20-minute video. What I would do if I was you and in your company, what the domain name strategy I would employ if I was you. So go and check that out. You just got done listening to another episode of .com Strategies. Check us out online at chriszuiker.com and at mediaoptions.com.